from the government in any form, whether that's Social Security, a pension, or something else, you may very well soon not be able to receive those payments anymore if you do not sign up for the United States Central Bank digital currency coming soon. One thing that a lot of you guys pointed out in the comments section of that video were questions about pensions and Social Security payments. Basically, anytime the government wants to send you money, the question was, could this be used to force people into signing up for the CBDC? I think the answer to that is actually yes. And so we need to look at one part of this framework on regulating crypto to come up with the answer. Take a look with me here. It says agencies will encourage the adoption of instant payment systems like FedNow, and they'll use instant payment systems for their own transactions where appropriate, like in the distribution of money for disaster, emergency payments, or, this was the key one, other government to consumer payments. Now, this FedNow system that's being referenced here is the infrastructure that will be used if the United States ever does launch a central bank digital currency in the future. So when they're talking about encouraging agencies across the board in the federal government to start using these instant payment systems in order to test them and check for bugs and make sure they work and get everybody on board, this is just one step closer to using systems like this for all payments. So when we look here and it says, in the context of distribution of disaster, emergency, or other government to consumer payments, what they're talking about here is, hey, we have some sort of, a Hurricane Katrina situation going on. If we want to send out emergency payments, you've got to sign up for the CBDC, or at least the precursor to it. If you want to get your Social Security payments, you got to sign up for the CBDC. If you want to get your pension payments, you got to sign up for the CBDC. If you want your payments to go through for other government services, the government's paying for you to get government services, whether it's healthcare, military, something like that, you've got to sign up for the CBDC. So especially intra-government payments from one agency to another, or from one government agency to like a contractor, they will increasingly start using systems built with or on or in conjunction with FedNow. Again, that's the infrastructure for the CBDC. That's the instant payment system that the Federal Reserve is launching next July. So after next July, in July of 2023, we will start seeing little tests, little drips. Hey, if you want this, it's got to be through FedNow. If you want this, they're going to start adding onto that list little by little by little, slowly getting the United States citizens used to using this system. Little by little. And eventually it'll get to the point where they're going to say, hey, it's no longer going to be done through your bank account. This is just going to be done through a separate account held directly at the Federal Reserve. That's going to be the final transition over to a fully fledged CBDC, is when the accounts are held in a central bank with the Federal Reserve in the case of the United States. And so the answer to the question that everybody was asking is absolutely yes. They could absolutely force, if they wanted to, a huge portion of the population into signing up for a CBDC, because if you want your Social Security checks, you're going to have to do it that way now. If you want your pension payments, you're going to have to do it that way now. Whatever it is, whether it's military, disability, or anything else, if you want to get your payments, you're going to have to get it through the CBDC. Now, personally, this is where I say it's a line in the sand that we cannot cross. Never sign up for a CBDC, regardless of what they're promising you. And there will be a lot of people that do sign up for it. The reason why I'm so much of an advocate for just saying no, even if it is free money, even if you do get to use it for what you want, is because if we all just say no, it won't happen. Now, I know there will be a lot of people that will sign up, and there are a lot of sheep that don't know what's going on, or if they do, they're going to be praising themselves along their descent into darkness the entire way. But I think the more of us who just say no, the better. Also, it's not as if you're going to be able to use this for the things that you really want. They're going to have complete control over how these transactions are made. You're not going to be able to use it to buy Bitcoin. You're not going to be able to use it to buy gold. You're not going to be able to use it to buy silver or pew-pews or anything like that. They're going to have very tight controls over how this money is spent.
So in the way that Dr. Zelenko was banned off of Twitter, your listeners, we could have our money turned on and off. And the Vatican clearly knows, when the Vatican, by the way, is also part of the World Economic Forum team, the Vatican, Pope Francis, he clearly knows what's going on because he instructed the Vatican to move all of their funds, all their money, to the Vatican Bank by September 30th of 2022. Now, I'm not the kind of guy that likes to hop on these shows and name dates because I'm not a prophet. I'm not somebody who has a clairvoyant look into the future. What I can say, though, is that Pope Francis has instructed the Vatican entities to move all their money into the Vatican Bank by September 30th of 2022. And I do know that Joe Biden's Executive Order 14067, moving us into programmable currency, central bank digital currencies, that goes into effect on December 13th of 2022. December 13th of 2022.
Was criticizing Mitt Romney's promise to loosen the new regulations on the big banks and Wall Street, but it was how Biden said it.
He's going to let the big banks once again write their own rules. Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.